What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? This is going to be your review for Queen Sugar, Season 4, Episode 12. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I hope you like this video. Now, look, y'all going to be mad at me by the end of this. I'm just going to go on and put it out there. Y'all going to be mad at me because I already see where this is going. And I hate to be right. There's some things that went down in this episode that I was right about. And I hate to be right, but we're going to get there. We start this episode off where they doing the Blue and Ralph Angel doing some spring cleaning. Now, the first thing that ran through my mind was, is this the first time they spring cleaned it since Daddy died? Because they cleaned it throughout this closet, and Ralph Angel finds a birthday gift or a Christmas gift, but I'm assuming a birthday gift for Blue from his grandfather, already wrapped up with the card and everything on it. Ralph Angel puts it back up before Blue gets a chance to see it, but that was just the first thing that popped in my head. I said, is this the first time we cleaned out that closet? And don't get me wrong, we all look. I probably got stuff. I cleaned out a closet last year that I hadn't touched since I moved in my house. Okay, so I understand, but I was just wondering. Nova shows up. Okay, and of course Blue wants to go see Aunt Nova, and Ralph Angel's like, "You stay in the house. I'm gonna go out there and talk to her." And Blue's like, what the? I ain't seen Aunt Nova in forever. Why I can't go talk to her? Ralph Angel was like, look, just do what I say, not as I do. See, I like that, Ralph Angel. I like that old school. I don't give you no explanations. I don't owe you no explanations. I told you stay in this house and you don't go talk to her. And that's it. I appreciate that, Ralph Angel. But he goes out there and he talks to Nova. He was like, look, just because you made up with Charlie don't mean we cool. And she was like, well, I just thought, I heard you giving out second chances, so I thought I'd shoot my shot. I guess that's a comment towards Darla or whatever, which tells me that she knows, which made me think that she knows about what's going on with Darla, but then she was shocked to find out what was going on with Darla. So I don't know. That one kind of went over my head a little bit when she made that comment. But what we find out is Ralph Angel lets her know, look, Blue is in therapy right now. And she was shocked. Why? Because he found out at school that I'm not his daddy. Remember what you said wasn't going to happen? Well, it happened. So now he's in therapy because he's going through some things. Processing what you put out there. Then he says, and Darla done relapsed. She been sober for 3 years and she done relapsed because of what you put out there. Now, again, I'm not putting all of it on Nova's shoulders because at the end of the day, but I'm putting 99.9% of it on Nova's shoulders. And of course, Nova is once again, oh no, Darla relapsed. I was getting ready to curse. Nova, if you don't go take a seat, if you don't go sit your ass down. Anyway, over to Charlie's house. She getting ready for the Harvard party, for Micah. And the whole time I was sitting, the whole time I was like, he ain't going to Harvard. They were just making too much of a big deal about it for me to think it was really going to go down. But we'll get there. Nova is doing research on this, the World Oil Company, y'all know what I'm talking about. The guy that they caught taking the pictures, she is doing some investigation, and she done called over to the newspaper saying, look, can you do a deep dive into this dude? Because we need to figure some things out. Now, while she's doing that, guess who shows up on her doorstep? And she looked like she had seen a ghost when she opened that door, and it was Aunt Vi standing there. Lord, I thought Nova was gonna pass out. I mean, she really looked like she was going to pass out. And Vi was like, look, I ain't here for all that. I just need Jimmy Dale's address. Now, on this one, I was agreeing with how Nova handled it. Nova was like, what, say what, now what? She said, look, I've been praying for this day for months, okay? But she asked her what you needed for. She said, I just got to take something back to him. She said, look, I've been waiting on this day for months, but I just feel like you ain't telling me the whole story, so I ain't giving up nothing until you tell me what's going on. And Vi was like, I don't owe you no damn explanation. You started all of this. So now I need to go take something to Jimmy Dale. You going to give me the address or what? Nova said, look, I'm going to give you the address on 2 conditions. 1, I'm going to drive you there. You're not going there by yourself. Good move, Nova. Good move. 2, you're going to talk to me. And I said, well, I'm gonna let you drive me, but I ain't gonna talk. I'll talk to you if and when I feel like talking to you. You ain't gonna make me talk to you. I was feeling this whole conversation. I saw both sides of this coin. Now we down to the headquarters, Charlie's headquarters, and the polls are doing just what she expected them to do. Jacob's numbers are going down. His undecideds are going up. Things are looking good. But Prosper said, "Look, I ain't trying to rain on your parade, baby girl." He said, "But look, I done went down to the polling station to go on and make sure that I'm good to go with my registration, and they done took me off the road. They said I'm not a president." She said, "What? You been living here for 5,000 years. How you ain't on the road?" He said, "Well, I went over to the black farmers meeting, and they done told them all the same thing, that they not on the roll. So now they playing games with the voter registration. Y'all know the games they do with voter suppression where they take people off the roll. Then we find out that down to the Latino neighborhood, they done moved the polling office 10 miles out of town. So while Charlie's having this conversation with Prosper, the you know who I'm talking about, the Francis done rolled in. Charlie was like, "What you doing here?" She said, "I won't be here long." She said, "Good." She gonna look at Prosper talking about some privacy. Prosper was like this. "I'm going nowhere." Charlie said, "Prosper, I got this. She ain't gonna be here long." So she said, "What you do to my son?" All of a sudden, he believing these lies that some old 2-bit genealogist done drug up about my family. Charlie said, "All I did was shake the tree. Ain't my fault what fell out." She said, "I don't know what it is, why my son is so sweet on you. I don't know what it is." She said, but I done told you don't want to, like, this is a fight you don't want. She said, "And pride goeth before the fall." You know, because Charlie is just not giving it to her. I mean, she's just not giving it to her. And just as they get finished having their little showdown, who done rolled in with the sheriffs? Now, the sheriffs are talking to Charlie, and you already see where they're going with this. They trying to turn this fire. They know it's arson, but they trying to put it on Charlie. They talking about some, well, you know, what started the fire was some sort of torch that they use on cane farms. And they gonna say, "Well, doesn't your brother have a cane farm?" Charlie was like, "You know he does. What you trying to say? I mean, we found out you did a lot of upgrades to the mill. You know." She said they were like, "Are these some costs that you weren't anticipating?" She said, "Nothing more than what a normal startup would cost." She said, "Well, what y'all trying to say?" "Well, I mean, maybe this was more than you could chew. Maybe you bit off more than you could chew. Maybe this was too much of a burden for you." Charlie said, "Look, I'm rich. So there's that. I don't need no insurance money. I'm rich." So then they asked about Micah. They said, "Well, he was suspected in an arson last year." She said, "Okay, that's it. Interview over. Talk to me with my lawyer." I said, "Yep, we see where that's going. They about to." She said, "Has anybody looked into Frances Boudreaux?" "Well, we don't have any reason to suspect her." "Well, hell, you ain't got no reason to suspect me either." But so she ended the interview, and there was that. So back over to the farm. Darla's playing frisbee with Blue in the yard. Ralph Angel, he's just so happy to see his family unit coming back together. And Darla has a good conversation with him about Nova. And at first I thought Darla was getting ready to go left with the Nova conversation, and I was about to have to get an attitude with her. But she basically told Ralph Angel, "Look, okay, Nova was here today and you told her to get away, but what you gonna do? You just gonna keep ignoring her at family functions? I mean, you're gonna have to deal with the Nova situation one way or the other." And Blue is sort of being caught in the crossfire, and he thinks about it. But y'all know how Ralph Angel is. Ralph Angel gonna be the last man standing in this situation. So Ava and Nova, they headed on down to Jimmy Dale's house, right? And Ava said, "You told the wrong story." I'm sorry, y'all. All of a sudden, it must be raining outside. She said, "You told the wrong story." Nova said, "No, I said this and I said that." She said, "No, you made me a victim." She said, "And I showed you through my actions, through my works, that I am more of a victor than a victim. But I counted the pages. There were twice as many pages about my trials as there were about my triumphs. You told the wrong story. And once again, you see Nova, that one little tear trickling down, because once again, she's being faced with her version of the story, her side of the story that she's telling. So they finally pull up in front of Jimmy Dale's house, and it's an old rundown, rickety old house, honey. And she knocks on the door, and of course he opens the door, and he like, "But Violet? Oh, I knew you'd be back." She said, "Got something to give you, Jimmy Dale, because I'm not going to carry this burden anymore. This is on you now." So she hands him the box that she had all of her keepsakes in, that had the wrist from the hospital and everything. The one that we keep speculating was from the child that she probably lost as a result of his beating. But at the very least, we know it's a hospital wrist from when he beat her or what have you. He took that box. He was like, "So what? I'm supposed to feel some kind of way about this? Well, I'm supposed to be upset or something?" And you could tell that whatever she thought she was going to get, she didn't get in that moment. And she told him, she said, "Well, look, I'll tell you what, this is your burden to carry. This isn't my burden to carry." And as she's talking, now she told Nova to stay in the car. But as she's talking, Nova gets out the car. And as she's talking, Nova inches closer and closer and closer. And then she finally because he's coming at Vi. And she sees Vi wavering a little bit, and I don't want to say breaking down, because I don't want to use that term, but she sees that Vi is sort of losing it, because Jimmy Dale is just, he's throwing those daggers at her, telling her she ain't this and she ain't that, and you always been weak, and you go on and get out of here. Yeah, go on and get your aunt out of here, because she always been weak, And Nova takes Vi's hand and says, "Come on, he has nothing to offer us. Let's go." So they get ready to walk off, and he smashes that box on the porch. And Nova screams. And she turns around and looks at him. And it's almost as if there's an epiphany when she turns around and she looks at that house. It's almost like she sees it with a fresh eye, right? She said, "You know what? I get it now." And she starts grinning, honey. She said, "I get it." She said, "You're mad because I won." She said, "Look at this you? Look at this house." She said, "I won." She said, "I got the money. I got the house." And she said, because she knows that house is a bone of contention with him. "I got the house. I got the business. And I got love." She said, "I won." And that's what your problem is. Let me tell y'all something. That scene was the best scene. I think that was one of the best scenes this season. There was a couple of them that was good, but that one right there, honey, and he just standing there the whole time. He just standing there. And she's letting him have it, honey. Just as nice, with a grin on her face, letting him know, "You ain't shit." And she says that to him. "You ain't shit." I said, "You better tell it, Vi." Honey, and Vi get to walking off with a little pep in her step, and she get to laughing, honey, and she get to grinning. And just as they getting ready to get in the car, this young girl walks up, looking rough, baby. She look bad. Got a bandage on her forehead. Her face is all discolored. She carrying groceries, and as soon as she sees them standing there, honey, she gets scared. She said, "I'm sorry, Jimmy. I'm sorry, Jimmy Dale or Jimmy." She said, "If I knew you had company, I would have waited. I'm sorry. I got here faster." She said, "I can get something cooking in a minute." And you can see, you see what it is. As soon as she sees the little girl, Vi knows it's her. And she tells Vi, she said, "You don't have to go in there." And Jimmy Dale's yelling from the porch, "Get in here. You get in here." And she's telling her, "No, you don't. You don't have to go in there." She said, "You are me. You are me 30 years ago. And I understand." She said, "I know." She said, "What is it? The soup was too hot? You didn't make the bed crisp enough?" And when she said that girl's face, it was recognition. I said, "Yep, that's what he did. That's what it was." She said, "You are me." She said, "You don't have to go back in there." She said, "Where am I going to go?" She said, "You can come with me, but you don't have to go back in that house." She said, "Well, what if he finds me?" She said, he going to have to go through me first. So they get ready to get in the car. Jimmy Dale come up off the porch. Nova got her phone on. She said, "Don't you take another step," because she taping them. And they get that girl in the car and they take her to a shelter for battered women. And Vi says, look, when you get yourself together, you got a job waiting for you at my establishment. And here's my number. She said, if you hear from him or he calls or anything happens, you call me. I got you. And she tells the director of the center, sound like she kind of knows the woman. She said, if she looked like she coming back, you call me, you let me know. And I like the way they did that, because she needs the help of what a shelter can give her right now with services, with therapy and things of that nature. It's great. It would have been a real cute scene to see them driving off into the sunset, and Vi took this woman and she living with Vi in Hollywood and everything. But she needs to really go to a place where she's going to get some help. And when she gets that place and gets some healing, then Vi can take her in and say, hey, you can stay here, rent a room, work here until you get on your feet, kind of thing. Glad she didn't have any children, because that adds another element when you start talking about abusive and being dependent on your abuser. Kiki and Mike are down to the art gallery, honey, and Micah's looking at he's explaining to Kiki about the different photography they see. It was a real nice series on looked like it was a photographer from Katrina, where his film had been abandoned and exposed, and they processed it and the images that were there and everything. And Kiki was like, I love you when you like this. Like, I love you when you talk about photography. He said, well, I'm not going to give it up. I mean, I'm still going to do my photography. I mean, I'm not going to be able to focus on it as much because of, I'm going to be in college and stuff, but I'm still going to do my photography. So they get to basically having the conversation about the whole long distance thing. And he said, it's really starting to get real. Like, this time next year, we're going to be hundreds of miles away from each other. And she said, well, you'll be home for that whole, anybody who's ever been in a long distance relationship know the conversation. Well, you'll be home for holidays and you can visit from time to time, and I'll visit, and we got Christmas break and spring break and summer break. And Micah said, you know what? People say that all the time when they end up breaking up. I said, he ain't lying. Ain't no lies detected. And there's thousands of kids right now having that same conversation with their high school sweethearts, honey. Ain't no lies detected. Mine lasted till February, honey. Anyway, that's another conversation for another day. So, but you see them processing that. Down to the diner. Aunt Vi got herself a new wig. This wig is cute that she got on. Honey, she done got rid of Jimmy Dale, and she done got rid of that old ass wig, because she even looks younger. That's a cute wig she has on. Her and Darla have a conversation, and Darla says, I really appreciate when I was at my lowest, you were there for me. I'm going through this quickly because y'all know how I felt about that storyline, so I ain't going to dwell on it. I done already talked about it. But Darla, and she tells Darla, look, you ain't have to carry the burden of what wasn't yours to carry, Darla has her 1 month chip, so we know Darla's been sober again for 1 month. And she said, I used to have a whole drawer full of these, because remember, she was sober for 3 years. She said, but now this is my most, outside of Blue, this is my most prized possession, but I want you to have it. And you just see a moment pass between her and Vi. And Vi even told her, I don't always agree with how, we don't always agree on how things go, but, whatever. Anyway, y'all know how I feel about that shit. So, down to the campaign office, I already told y'all what they trying to do with suppressing the votes. And Charlie is just looking defeated. I don't like this Charlie. Because this Charlie act like she can't think outside the box. And she can't come up with something. Prosper said, look, Charlie, we done seen this before. This ain't nothing new. He said, we're going to do this old school style. We're going to do this like we used to do. We're going to pull out the phone tree. And I'm going to call 10 people. And they going to call 10 people. And they going to call 10 people. And they going to call 10 people. And we're going to let everybody know what's going on. We're going to let everybody know where the polling stations are and what they need to do to get back put on the roll before election day or same day registration, whatever they have to do. He said, I already called over to Reverend Martinez and we're going to get transportation running to run these people to the polls. Like, we got it, Charlie. We got it. And I said, come on through, Prosper. You better tell them how we used to do it back before cell phones and tweet us. I said that on purpose. Tweet us. Twitter. Tweet. Anyway. Ava and Nova have a conversation. And Ava almost really thanks Nova. You know. She says, look, I sort of what I needed. It's sort of what I needed. I ain't necessarily like how you did it, but it's sort of what I needed. And she says, no more secrets. But again, when she says that, I think about, but you still got some secrets, Vi. Because remember, we know that old Boudreaux owes her a favor that we don't know what that favor is or what it's about or where it came from. You got some secrets, Vi. But she tells Nova, I'm glad you were there. Like, I'm glad you were there. I appreciate it. So you see that they're sort of mending. They're mending fences. All right, y'all. Here go the part that y'all probably ain't going to like me about. We go over down to the graduation party for Micah. And first we see Charlie and Nova talking about this whole world energy situation. Now, look. Here's the thing. Okay. Everybody done told Charlie, this is bigger than us. Everybody done told Charlie, you don't want this fight. This is bigger than the Boudreaux. This is bigger than even St. Joe. This is bigger than that. You don't want this, Charlie. She didn't take heed to it. She thought they was just playing with her or they was trying to scare her. So now you got Nova telling Charlie, look, I'm doing research and we got shell companies inside of holding companies. We don't know where this is coming from, but what we do know is that this is bigger than world energy. Duh! They've been telling you that. Just because you didn't believe them don't mean it wasn't true. They've been telling you this is bigger than world energy for months. So, Nova is like, look, we ain't got to the bottom of it yet, but we will. We're going to figure this out. Don't worry about it. We're going to figure it out. So, again, we see them further bonding. Although, Nova, you might have undone a couple of screws tonight. Nova just don't know when to shut the hell up. She don't know when to shut the hell up. So, Blue sees Nova and he goes to sit next to Nova on the couch. Ralph Angel tells Blue come sit next to him. Blue said, well, I can't sit over here. I can't sit with Nova. Nova says, Blue, going back over there with your daddy. Going back over there with your daddy. So Ralph Angel says, Blue, come on, let's go wash your hands for dinner. And when they get up, Ava says, look, you don't bring him in the middle of this. Ralph Angel was like, oh, so y'all done kissed and made up, so now I'm odd man out now. And I feel you on that one, Ralph Angel. So now, when everybody was mad at her, it was cool. But now that they done made up or they working on reconciliation, now I'm odd man out and I'm wrong. But he goes in the bathroom, he takes Blue in the bathroom, but then Blue has a good conversation with Ralph Angel. Blue said, what you mad at I ain't vibe about? He said, what makes you think I'm mad? He said, come on now. I ain't stupid. I know you mad at her. He said, well, she did something that I disagree with. But she thinks she right. Blue said, well, has she apologized? Ralph Angel said, no. Well, I mean, sort of. Well, because she's been trying to apologize. You just ain't been trying to hear. And I'm with you, Ralph Angel. I don't know if I'm ready to hear it either, but it is what it is. So Blue tells him a story about him getting into a fight with one of his friends and the mother mediating the fight. And the mother basically saying, look, y'all have more in common than y'all have than y'all are. Y'all are more alike than you are not alike. And it's not worth losing your friendship over that y'all fighting. They were fighting over the Minecraft game or something like that. And y'all friendship is bigger than this game. And so, of course, y'all know the moral of the story is, that's your sister, and y'all have more in common, and blah, blah, blah. And Ralph Angel heard him out, and he was like, I thank you, I appreciate you telling me, or whatever. And they have a little moment, love you too, I love you, Pops, da, da, da. But back to this party, honey. So, Charlie gives, she's giving a toast to Micah about going to Harvard and how wonderful it is and the opportunities that are there for him. She gives him a Rolex watch, honey. What else you get the boy? She gives him this Rolex watch, baby. And Micah says, well, I was going to wait till after the election, but, being critically truthful. And he looks at Nova. I said, don't look at Nova. Don't bring Nova in this. because I knew what he was getting ready to say. He said, "Ma, I'm not going to Harvard, baby." Charlie's face could have killed that boy. She said, "What are you talking about? You're not going to Harvard." He said, "I've decided that I'm going to go to Xavier University and I'm going to study art and political science. Like, I want to be here. I want to work with my people, blah, blah, blah." And Charlie immediately looks at Nova and said, "Did you know about this?" Nova said, "I ain't know nothing about it, but I think it's a good idea." See, Nova, you didn't have to add that last part. You just on the porch. You ain't all the way back in the house yet. Shut up. Just say you didn't know nothing about it. Don't add that you think it's a good idea. Zip. So then, Micah continues to plead his case about, him wanting to work with his people and be amongst his people. And Charlie was like, "Look, you can do that. Go to Harvard first, get the degree, and then you can start a business which will bring jobs into the community or help out the community. That's what our people need." He said, I just feel like Harvard is an unnecessary pit stop. She said, "But what?" And here goes Nova, once again, adding her 2 cents that ain't nobody asked her for. "Well, I think he can get a great education from a HBCU. Charlie said, "I know he can. That ain't my problem. I ain't questioning the HBCU piece of it. But he has she said he's been given a winning hand. He has a golden opportunity." She said, "College isn't about education." And Vi said, "Well, what is it about then?" She said, "It's about the opportunity. It's about being in the room with the right people." She said, "It's about having the opportunities that the Boudreaux take for granted because it's handed to them." And let me tell you something. She not wrong. I'm a proud graduate of a HBCU, but she's not wrong. She's not wrong. I understood exactly what Charlie was saying, and I understand why Charlie was pissed off. Charlie said, "I've been busting my ass these last couple of months to fight for my neighborhood, to fight for my people." What? And he gonna tell her, "Well, that's what inspired me. Watching you these last couple of months inspired me. This is what I want to do." See, this is the stuff that be making me, and this is where y'all gonna probably get mad at me. I'm gonna say this and then I'm done. I understood exactly what Charlie was saying, and I don't disagree with Charlie. And again, I said that I'm a proud graduate of a HBCU, and it's not about the education. And that's not to say that there aren't opportunities there's some Fortune 500 graduates from HBCU. I can name 5 or 6 off the top of my head without even without Googling. Okay, I know that. So don't get in my comments talking about all the wonderful success stories from HBCUs. I know that. That's not my point. But my point is, and ain't nobody going to deny it, that there are different doors and different opportunities in the walls of Harvard. He can always come back to New Orleans. He can go to Xavier for grad school. All of that. I see Charlie's point. But I also understand Micah's. I understand where Micah's coming from. I think his timing is fucked up. I don't think that was the right time or place for him to have that conversation with Charlie. He rescinded his letter to Harvard and went on. He did all this behind her back. See, that's not how you handle things. Now everybody's sitting there happy for Micah, and poor Charlie is odd man out. But I feel where Charlie's coming. Like I said, I understand Micah's thoughts. Don't get me wrong, but I'm with Charlie. I see where Charlie's coming from. The hell. Child. Anyway, I'm sure y'all let me make sure that's the end of it. Let me show, because sometimes I think it's the end and then I forgot and didn't say something I meant to say. Now, I'm gonna tell you what I thought was gonna happen. I thought Charlie was getting ready to disown his ass. I thought Charlie was getting ready to tell him, "Okay, you wanna go to Xavier? Pay for it. I'm done." Now that's what I thought she was gonna do. I ain't lying. That's where I thought that conversation was going. But anyway, let me know what y'all think. Drop it in them comments. Peace.